Hey guys, it's me coming on strong. I've been gone this week doing something I've never done before, or something I didn't know I was doing all along, but it was given a name finally. And if you're coming on to your spiritual journey or you're learning about esoteric things, a lot of us are doing a lot of this type of soul work and we don't even know it because we don't understand the concepts or the names. Like it's actually more confusing, these titles. But I was ushered by a woman, I would say, in the last psychic conference I went to. And even though I was a newbie, I met this woman, Kimberly Rose. She was another psychic, but she, I would say, is a channel of God. Like she speaks to Father very often, almost all the time. She's like channeling him all the time. Um, Not to say that God isn't a, dual natured source entity. I don't know what the words are, the I am that I am. However, she said things to me at that conference that no one would know, not even like I've never shared with anybody. It was intel that I didn't think anyone should know. And the fact that she got that intel was my understanding that I was supposed to work with this woman. So she told me she was creating a team that she was told by God many years ago to fashion a team together, and that she would meet these people as she went along in her life. And some of these people, it took her like 7 years to get us together. And it was funny because I was one of them, and she was like, now that I've met you, she's like, I'd like you to join what we're going to do. We're going to do this several months from now. Funny enough, at that exact same show, one of my only comrades, Jonathan, showed up, and he came to see me, and she was standing out there with me, and she was like, holy shit. She's like, who's this guy? I'm like, oh, I know he's hard to be around if you're an empath until you harmonize with him. It takes a while. She couldn't even look him in the eye or in the face because he was just so powerful. And I was like, yeah, I know, he's a lot. Because Jonathan's got a super duper soul. Can't really put your finger on Jonathan, but I learned a lot and at this get together. So basically, she realized with Jonathan, he was the last piece of this team. And she said that we were going to get debriefed and figure out how we were all going to meet up. So I was the connection to Jonathan, how universe rolls, right? But she said that we had to undo something, or we had to get together to do something called Gridwork. I had never done it, but I had been doing it and I didn't know I was doing it. So, anywho, long story, I wanted to vlog this because I think this is going to be something that I want to keep note of, because this was just a remarkable 4 days. I took off from here. We went to a place called Gagoma. It's not very far from where my dad was born, in a place called Wawa. And Wawa is very interesting as well. And I just came to knowledge of this, I would say, about a month ago. I've been a big fan of the Knights Templar lore for many, many years. And there's this YouTube channel called Y Files, where there was this forensic geologist that came on talking about the rune stone. The rune stone is this like Swedish written stone that just showed up in Ontario a couple years back in 2015, that was found, and it's like ancient. It's like from the 1400s, something like that. And this forensic geologist took years and years after finding it. He was asked to forensically look at it because it had, they wanted to know where the stone came from. Like, I think it was the government here in Canada wanted to know where it originated from, etc. And he went on a big, magical ride, finding out that the runestone had like the Lord's Prayer on it, meaning Yeshua, Jesus. But there was more to the story because there's all the symbology on it and codex to it. And if anybody knows anything about the Templars or the Freemasons or the Masons in general, who were probably a part of writing it in the first place, he went on a yellow brick road mission to figure out all the codex of this, and it was very profound. So Wawa was where my dad was born, and it is not far from where we were as a group, as a team. And it was where the runestone was located. That's a side note, but it was really cool that when we got asked to go wherever we had to go, it was actually not far from my dad's town. It's about, I would say, a 10-hour drive from here in Toronto that we had to go, roughly, in the middle of the bush. But it was an amazing journey. So we got there and we met these other souls, never met, but we had. Especially, like, I connected with these souls, like, right away. And that's the amazing thing about the journey that any of us share. I can honestly say in all of my life, I've never been understood. I've been different. I had friends and family that never understood me. And in these last 3 years, like, if you're someone who's coming on your ascension journey, you're going to notice a couple things start to happen. Okay. First and foremost, God is going to give you something called discernment. You're going to start to read through the bullshit. You're going to start to understand what's true and honest to yourself, to your soul, based on laws that are cosmic, that are of the ordinance of the universe. And you have probably been a soul that's been like this from the get-go. You're somebody who couldn't understand about killing and wars and all that jazz. And just, you were a fighter. You're a freedom fighter. You're a fighter of just complete and utter acceptance and love for others. And no matter what their walk of life is, what color, what skin they're wearing, what gender they are, what religion they come from, or of that of a religion. Most of us that are, moving and progressing through this amazing awakening. This awakening is like the cosmos and the universe has been waiting for a planet to shift, like a 3D dense planet, because you have to understand our planet is also a soul in itself. And I've always been very aware of Gaia or Terra, whatever name you want to call it. The planet itself is like a ship, if you can think about it, because we're rolling through space, spinning through space on this beautiful globe. And it has its own spirit, it has its own soul. So the universe has never seen in a long, long time a complete, beautiful soul like the earth raising itself to a 5-dimensional consciousness in its entirety. For, I don't even know if it's ever been done, but it's a galactic, universal phenomena that a lot of our team, our soul team, those that watch us in the interstellar nature have been waiting for a very long time. And as I've said in past videos, a lot of us came to this time and place and planet to do this work. And if you feel like you're called to do something, it's because your soul is speaking to you. It's because this is not a pokey-doke time. This is a time to change and morph and remember who we are. That is basically what's taking place. And that's why these shifts are happening so profoundly for so many souls on this planet. If you could think about 10 years ago, if anybody was as vibrant as they are now, fighting for the things that they're fighting for now, all of these structures, this matrices is crumbling, if you haven't noticed. All of the things that are taking place, be it any type of distraction, any type of dark work that is happening, is all part of waking us up, because it made us draw our lines in the sand. It made us understand that we have a place and a purpose on this planet, that the ripple effect can never be understood from the sight that we have here, and only in hindsight. And maybe as we pass on from this lifetime, will we understand how many souls we touched, how many souls we activated, how many souls we were a part of, what soul families, etc. So to be in these bodies, right, and to experience the world as it is and not understand and feel like things are really chaotic, you have to understand that the chaos is what's shedding the light. The chaos is what's showing what's broken. The chaos is what's getting us to realize that this is not what we signed up for as souls. And it's helping us remember where we came from, what we are here to do. And a lot of people think that the interstellar is not connected to it. It is connected to it. Look at any type of indigenous backgrounds. Look at our history, our real history. And you will see that the star peoples have been all through our history guiding us all the way. A lot of it has been damaged because of the Catholic Church, because of the Crusades, because of a lot of wiping of information. And not for nothing, we are lucky and blessed that in our lifetimes we have the internet. It can be used as a tool for knowledge, but it can also be used as a tool for dysfunction and for misinformation. But the reason why most of us souls that are ascending, that are part of this awakening, we are awaking, and we know how to discern. That's one of the first gifts you get from the Creator, from God, if you don't like that term, right? And realistically, as we remember, parts and downloads start to come back to us, and it helps shape our soul in a way that we start to unburden ourselves. We start to peel off layers of ourselves, and it's not something that's done overnight. A lot of us have to do what we call shadow work, which is looking at the dark parts of ourselves, looking at all the masks we put on that try to protect us and to help us mold into that fake life or that fake matrices that we've had put upon us that is now crumbling and falling apart. And rightfully so. The more chaotic, the more outrageous things are getting, it's like shaking us, like shaking a tree so that the fruit falls, right? It's like getting us to have the awareness, like, where does the line in the sand happen for us? And a lot of people can't understand, like, why would a creator do this? Why would God allow for this? But it's like, yes, there is so much pain going on in the world, so much death, so much murder, so much chaos, so much issues. It's there, but it's all happening at the same time, and that is not a coincidence. This is designed so that even those that are participating in even very, some of us would not understand that we assign ourselves as souls to participate in the ways we participate. Be it that we could even be that child in Palestine, or we could be that child in Sudan, or we could be that child in part of genocide in some other place in the world, which is happening, sometimes being shone upon and sometimes not. Or we could be part of the persecution of different countries right now, part of watching our freedoms being taken away. But we all assigned ourselves this soul deliverance of understanding that we're trying to bring back or bring apart or shine a light or be some form of galactic, universal soul soldier for the Creator God at this time, to elevate the planet to this fifth dimensional consciousness. And yes, these are terms, and I know people don't like to understand this, but as we raise as a consciousness and the planet shifts into this consciousness, this will bring more light. And if you don't know what that means, it's just love. Love is the ultimate frequency that we are all here to bring. And getting rid of all of the minutia and the hatred and the dysfunction is our goal. We all have a place. We all have a time to blossom. So some of us may have been blossoming for a long time, awakened for a long time, and some of us are just waking up. And realistically, that's what this is all about. And I know for myself, as someone who rejoined the journey 3 years back, I was well aware. I blossomed early, and then I closed back up like a frigid flower in the winter's thaw. And now I'm back on, and I do soul work in the sense of a higher self channeler, activator of many ways and terms, if you could put it that way. So I was asked to go to this grouping. I was asked to be part of this team. And the souls that I met, the 7 souls, we knew each other for a long time. That I don't deny, that I know for sure. Because when I met all these different individuals, it's like there was a part of me that saw myself in all of them, even though we were all from different walks of life. And we were asked to unite and do these different healings with each other. And we were paired off and sent different locations, different places to give a piece of each other to ourselves. Because it's like I held a piece, every single participant held a piece. And that's really how this works. No one has everything. We all have parts for each other for this bigger puzzle. So in this sense, I was doing what we call grid work. I didn't know that was something I was doing all my life, just soul driven and soul guided. Like, for example, every time and I think mine was more to do with water. Like, it didn't matter where I traveled in the world, I made it a point to get in every ocean and every lake and every river and just go out to the middle of it and just like try to harmonize with the water and try to clear the water and try to use it as a conductor for healing no matter where I was. And if I went to certain like locations that were very sacred, or I felt drawn to go off and give an intention, or to stick my hands in the soil and just harmonize with it, or to just place myself, I didn't realize that that was what I was doing. It was just something I did normally. Or I would do something, I guess, some form of like what people would call like I don't know if it's shadow dancing, or it's a form of like energy dancing. I used to do that. I still do it all the time. It's just something I knew since I was a teenager how to do. It was always like as if I felt like I was moving and pushing the energy and within my region. And I didn't know. There were no names. I didn't understand, And it was something that I came to learn in this grouping, in this team, because they had pieces and they helped me understand the things that I was doing so naturally my whole life, and that you were probably doing naturally in your world and you don't understand. And sometimes we don't need the titles. Our soul is guiding us all the time to these different, some people speak light languages, some of us channel, some of us are given our gifts as we awaken and we ascend. And that's part of it, because this remembering is how we remember our gifts, right? Like for myself, I got my throat open, and I know most of my work will be done with my throat. I was beginning to channel. I can channel and any person's higher consciousness and use that modality to do a therapy session. That's my gift, one of my gifts. I also got the gift to sing recently in the last years. I could never hold a tune, and now I can really belt it out. And that was part of my throat. And also, I became ambidextrous. My left hand works as well as my right hand now, so I can do things with both hands. And these are just, some of the gifts. All of us, as we ascend, we have gifts, and they start to open up as we go through our awakening, as we do shadow work. And if you don't know shadow work, I didn't know the terms either. I was just naturally doing that too. But it's basically like once you start turning on, you get discernment from God. God shows you that you don't take shit anymore. You make your, line in the sand. You know what you're fighting for to some degree. You could see through bullshit. You can read through people like you never have before. And also what comes with that is like discernment that to rid of most of the persons in your life that are no longer working for you or part of your next path in life. And you kind of break your life into two parts. One of your old life that you can't even remember how you even functioned. And then you start your new journey, which is kind of a reclamation back to your childhood self. Because your childhood self was unburdened and unfettered and knew what and who you were. And kind of when you step into this next part of your existence, following your soul journey, following your ascension journey, you start to reclaim your previous self as an adult, though. And as you do that, you'll notice a lot of people just don't make the cut. They fall away, and you can't move on with those people. And that's part of it. You go through what they say, you hermit a lot, you start to see where all your traumas are. Most of us give up vices. It's not even hard to do. Like for myself, I was an avid drinker, big drinker. I did drugs. I did all kinds of things. But it was because I had this hole in my soul that I wanted to fill with something, right? And once I woke up, once I had my big trauma, it's always different for everyone, right? You may have something traumatic that happens to you, or it'll just be something so aha that God shows you that you start to change your life in a way you never thought before. And as you do that, you'll notice that all these stages start to come into play, and it happens through God's guidance always. Like, yes, everyone can teach people or help aid, right? Like I said, we're all parts of this big puzzle.
But please know that everything is inside. Everything is inside. Your whole bag of tricks, all of the knowledge you need to move forward in your life is all inside. So please do not cling to others as your keeper, as your, you can get guidance. That's totally cool. But don't think that someone is over you or better than you, because that is not true. We are all equal. We are all children of God. We all have parts to play. So the minute that you find that you're in a system or a dogma or some type of leader that seems to make you feel like you're less than, that you're not of the same caliber, that you don't know as much as them, please get away from these people, because they are lying. You know as much as I know. You have all the tools. God prepares all of us. So you don't need to go and follow people. Yes, us leaders, any leader, we always lead by example. We try to do the things that, are difficult and hard within our own lives so that we can transform those around us. And that's it. And it's not transforming because we want to take things from you or charge you to be in our presence. We just live our lives. That's how we become the leaders. We live by example. That's the best way I've ever learned in my life, is by God showing me my life situations. God gave me enough situations in my life, and God will give you enough situations in your life so that you can claim your greatness. So, as that said, I went on this retreat. I met all these lovely persons, and each one of us had something to offer the other. I got to clear karma with one of the women there, Sylvie. She was very closely tied to Magdalena and to Isis, to Sophia, Yeshua. And I know that when we did our own healing session, I channeled in that I, in past lives, had suppressed her. She was dealing with suppression in every lifetime. And that was the healing I offered her, was helping her release that suppression. And in the same time, she was doing a healing on me. And I was finally allowed to apologize and to make amends in this lifetime for all the things I had done wrong to her. I got to see all the visions, all the ways that people suppressed her through all the lifetimes. And I was a part of that. In some lifetimes, I had been the suppressor. And so, again, we all have pieces of this. We're not here to be better than, okay? Then there was Richard. He was part of the Minnetonka people. I've had a big affinity for natives my entire life. I've always felt like they knew, Aboriginals and natives always knew the right way, of how we should live with our mother God, our planet, the feminine aspect of creation all along. They make things very ceremonial, and they are very good at understanding that all life has purpose. And you will see this in some religions here and there. Let's say with the Hindus and the Buddhists, it kind of tap into this as well. But him and I had a lot in common in terms of what we faced in our lives, even though he was 20 years older than me. But I was very taken aback because he was somebody who lived his whole life on the reserves. He had always lived with Aboriginal Native peoples, his own tribe. And it wasn't common for him, it was really hard to get him to go to this conference or this get together for this team, because he is learning to shatter those stories and those traditions, not in the sense of giving them up, but allowing to understand that others like himself are able to bring healing in different ways, and to break down the molds and the barriers that the white man or the white woman couldn't partake in these things, or we couldn't help each other. And it was really interesting because he when I did the healing with him, he did something so profound for me. He brought his drum and he started playing his drum, and he asked for me to stand with him as the feminine aspect. And he was playing the drum, and all of a sudden, as I went into some trance, I was taken on a journey. I saw all these tribes people. They were all wearing the same colors. The black feather was very important. And this tribe, I could tell they were all dressed the same. The grandmother spirit of this tribe came to show me a vision. And the vision was so profound. It was First, she showed me a totem. She showed me the bear, then she showed me the lizard, then she showed me a firebird. And it was first in wood, but then the firebird like took off from the totem and started reaching and reaching high up to the sun. And then started plummeting down like so directly into a volcano. And then she showed me like the firebird was representational of the lava that was inside the volcano, and that was the blood life of mother, and that this lava came out and then spilled down the volcano and created the earth, and then the earth was part of mother, and then all I saw was like a bear, like a fish, and then a bear grabbing the fish out of the water eating it, and then I saw a frog, a really green frog, going through the water, and then a blue heron coming and eating the frog. And basically then I saw these tribes people like doing a dance, and then Richard had asked me to start using my voice. So I started, basically I was like channeling this grandmother spirit, and I started like allowing my voice out in a way I had never done. It was so powerful. Like I just started like channeling this song out, but no words, just like like it was it was great because I never done that. I've never been allowed to like use my voice in like a free open space, channeling this spirit. And when I finished, I was in tears, and it was just such a epic situation. I was like, wow, like that helped me heal a part of my voice, because I had never done anything like that or ever been a part of something like that. And when I opened my eyes finally after finishing channeling, everyone around me that had been listening, because I didn't see anybody and I didn't, really know what the song was about. Three of the people said that I was channeling some type of light language. That's what they felt and experienced, and a lot of them started crying, and they said it was really profound. And I was just like so grateful and like happy that this had come out of me. And when I told everyone what I had seen, what grandmother spirit had shown me, Richard was like, wow. He's like, I've never seen a he was making a joke, like a whitey, like the white skin, he called it. He goes, channel grandmother spirit and her allow that. And then at the same time, he goes, you actually, like, you don't know it, but he's like, every animal you mentioned was the animal spirit of the tribes within this whole region. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so profound. I didn't know that. So that was something that he shared with me, and he released a piece for me, and I gave a piece back to him, because then there was Jonathan. And Richard had bonded, because Jonathan is what we would call a water keeper. He's somebody who goes around the world, like capturing water, bringing water to people, and he crystallizes water, and he uses that crystallized water as a form of language, water language. It's very amazing what he does. But Jonathan was a connect I had for many years. I've never been able to read his soul properly, in the sense of like, I always used to call him undercover boss, because there was something about him where I felt like he was here for shits and giggles, like he incarnated on this planet just to do a job, but like he didn't have karma, and his soul was so profound. And when we were doing our healing, he had explained like a scene or something that had happened to him in New York. And he's very cerebral. He's always like, I'm not connected. And it's like, buddy, you're like really connected. It's insane how funny this guy is, because he's got a tremendous soul that, even Kim, the woman that recruited us, like picked up on it. And I was like, thank God I'm not the only one that sees this in him. But he shared this story of him in New York, and it was really amazing. He said that he went to New York once, and then all of a sudden, like, he was summoned by soul to like go to the edge of Manhattan. And this was real. Like, this wasn't, he had like a, what you would call like a phenomena or like a paranormal situation, but a profound one. And he said that he saw this massive like meteor, like red meteor coming to New York, and it's like the meteor engulfed him, hit him, and then obviously he didn't die, but he was just seeing that. And then he was summoned onto the trains, and he said that like all the trains weren't moving except for one. When he got on it, that one train led him to the site of 9/11. And when he got there, there were all these souls, departed souls, the souls that hadn't made it to the other side waiting for him. And he said he ushered like hundreds of people from that site to the other side. And he didn't know how to put it into words, like because I was seeing all this in him as he was describing it. And I was like, holy shit, man. I'm like, you're actually like a soul usherer. And I've only heard of two other men on YouTube. Like I got to conferences and met them, and I've known them for some time on YouTube in long form, that have this capacity. So I gave Jonathan their information, and hopefully he connects with them, because in order to be a soul usher or someone who brings souls to the other side, you have to have a huge soul contract, in the sense that all the souls that you're going to pick up in your lifetime have been waiting for you specifically, let's say. And then it's like, to have that gift and skill, like the creator has to trust you explicitly, because you're caring for so many souls and their safety, put it that way. Like I myself, when I had my eye, I would see departed souls like one at a time. And if I was lucky enough to get them to notice me, meaning like I could hold them out of their loop long enough and I could bring them to the other side, it was only like one at a time. So the fact that he was ushering like 100 souls at one time was amazing. And I gave him the information for these two men. They're in the States. But I think one of them has ushered that amount and has been doing work like this for like fucking more than a decade. So I really hope he connects with them, because that's going to be a huge undertaking to have a soul like this activated on this planet right now. But suffice it to say, we were doing work. Kim had told me and the others like what our part was in all of this, and I happened to be the one soul that had an Anunnaki tie. I know that because I have an aspect of my higher self that is Anunnaki, and the work we were doing was with the blue beings. I think they are somewhat of a Syrian connection from like Sirius A, B, C. But they are ancient souls, and there was something that us seven had done, probably very long time ago, supposedly, from what we gathered, because like I said, we all had a piece of this download, was maybe from the beginning of this particular creation, and we made a mistake, I guess, and we had to correct it. And this would like unleash like more, let's say, corrections through the timeline. And all I know is that when we were doing this Gridwork, we were around a portal, and each one of us had a place to play. I was what we would call an anchor, because it killed my neck doing this, but it's okay. But I hope like we all held our positions, and we did what we needed to do. And it was funny because I had a vision before I left to go. It's like 10 hours away in Toronto, from Toronto. I had a vision for one of us about what was going to take place during this energy healing. I didn't know that at the time. And I wasn't allowed to say anything until the whole situation worked itself out. And it was funny because I knew it was for one of the people. I didn't know which one. And then I told, like, when we debriefed after we did all this work, and we all said what we saw or participated in while we were doing it. And I told them finally the vision I had, and the person that it was pertaining to, she was outside smoking, so she was the only one left out of the circle when I was explaining all of it, of what I saw. And then she finally came in, and Kim was like, hey, so, hey, Danielle, what did you see? And it was exactly what I had said one of us was going to go through. So it was so like refreshing to, get that piece of the puzzle of like who was the one that was going to do this, and I was like, oh, okay, like now it makes sense. I had things to deliver to Danielle that I didn't know. I had things to deliver to all the people that I didn't know, and we all did it individually. And the one thing I can say is that each one of them, from the healings they provided me, kind of laser focused on one thing, one wound that I have. Like from what all of them gathered of me, they said that they all said that I had something to do with the moon, which I knew because the moon and I are like this. And it was something about moon energy, and I've always been a fan of the moon. But then they said that I encompass love. I'm an embodiment of love here on this planet, and in a big way. And I always knew that. But there was this wound in me that I've never managed to break down or, really tangibly see. And all of these people, like laser focused, they were all saying the same thing because they are my reflections. They had a piece of this puzzle. They had to tell me what this, they got me to target what it was. So I kind of have an idea. I have a pretty good idea of like what I need to release, but it's going to be tough because I have to wait for God's ahas or God to show me how to release this. But I feel like I need to release this because if I do, then I can unleash a power that I've had in my heart since I was born. It is my gift to the world. It is what I need to bring to the world. And it is a burden in the sense that I've carried this knowing I've carried it, but I've always protected myself. And having all those people point to the same wound, and they were basically like, we need you to release this, because if you release this, then this awesome force gets released onto the planet. So it is a bit of a weight, because I know what it is. I know it's like as if for a brief shining moment I caught on, and if I can release it, I know that this is another gift I have to give to the world, for all of you, for myself. It's something that I've held since I was very young. Something that has shaped my entire life, and if I can break it, would be tremendous. So, and it was interesting also because I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try to figure this out because I need to do this for the world, and it's what I was here to do. It's what you're here to do. We're all here to live out our only life here. I mean, this is the life that we are fashioned to do this. The whole universe is giving us a gift, and we're here to do this work. And this is the time. This is the time. This is the timeline. This is the one shot we have at this. And it's not to say as universal, unlimited beings of like infinity, that this cannot happen again, but it would be so, amazing if we could get this right this time, if I can get this right this time, if I can unleash this lifetime. Because I know I'm a piece to the puzzle, and all of us are, and if all of us could unleash this gift that we are onto this planet, this consciousness would shift in no time. This consciousness would eradicate all the crap that is happening right now. It would transform not just our lives, our children's lives, everybody, for, all the years to come. So it is a big calling that we have on our heads, but it is what we were born to do. And it was funny because I was so glad to have met Sylvie. She was the only person that I had ever met. So my whole life I had this. I hope you guys can see it. Oh, let me do this. So, let me see. Do you see these points? Maybe. These points here. I hope I'm getting them right. That's my birthmark. I've always thought that, I hope I caught it. I've always thought that it was either Orion or the Sirius constellation. And the middle one's red. They call it a cherry kiss when it's a birthmark. So I always felt like that was where I jumped off, or that was my originating, soul family tie. But she also had that exact same birthmark on her other leg. So I felt a big affinity to Sylvie. She was the one that I released karma with because I had done her wrong before. And all I know is that the more we remember, the more we can function in this place. And remembrance is all we can do. The more we peel the layers of this onion of our soul, of our connection to source, the more we can offer this planet. So I just wanted to say that I finally got to see what this is. We're going to be meeting up again and again, I guess, through the years to do more of this work. I think we're going to Egypt. I really wanted and needed to go to Egypt my whole life. I had a chance about a decade ago and I chickened out. I went to Portugal instead. I had the means, I had the money, I had the time, and I had it all planned out, and I chickened out and went to Portugal, and I broke my ankle and went on a karmic cycle instead. So, not that you ever make true mistakes, but your soul gives you pivotal points in your life to actually follow through with something. And if you don't follow through with it, it's not like you're never going to get to go again. And how awesome is it now that I will be going with these people? And we're going to do a team effort. It's going to be amazing once we get that all figured out. But it's just like when you see things in retrospect or in hindsight, or you live in the moment, because now is all we have. Richard said something that was so profound, and I want to share it with you guys. I hope I do him justice by describing this. He's like, the past is over here. If you think of it like a crescent moon, the past is where you've done things, right? Then you have the now. And he's like, if you focus on the future, he's like, or you focus on the past, he's like, that's where cancer and disease and all of that comes from, because these are things that you cannot control. These are things that you worry about, that you stress about, that you panic about. And if you revert back to the middle, which is the now, all you can deal with is the present, is the now. Because worrying about something that hasn't happened or what happened in the past, that's where all the disease comes from. So realistically, if you want to be your most harmonious and full self, you only work with the now, you only work with the present, because that will release all of the tension and the disease that the future may or may not provide. He said it way more profound, but it was so true. So I hope in the now you've seen this, and I hope this was helpful for someone. But I really just wanted to vlog this and I will do my best in this next while to figure out this challenge, because it is something that I know is at the tip of my nose. And when I release it finally, it'll help you all and myself. And that's all we can do. Love you lots. Here's a little clip of what happened at the event. Peace.